From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Elia Batul. Nobel Prize winners call for restoring aid, ending relocation plans, and seeking a ceasefire to prevent mass starvation in Gaza. This and more coming up in today's show, so stay tuned. More than 200 scholars are condemning Harvard University for canceling a special journal issue on Palestine, calling it censorship and discrimination. The Harvard Educational Review has spent more than a year preparing the issue on education in Palestine. Contributors say the Harvard Education Publishing Group suddenly required legal review by the university's general counsel, breaching contracts and threatening academic freedom. When authors protested, the publisher canceled the entire issue and revoked contracts. The open letter accuses Harvard of silencing discussion on Israel's genocide in Gaza and setting a dangerous precedent. Scholars call this the Palestine exception to free speech, noting it blocks the study of Palestine when Palestinian educators face extreme repression. Harvard claims the articles did not meet its publishing standards, describing most as opinion pieces. Experts reject that explanation, saying it omits key facts and shifts blame to editors and authors. They demand the university be held accountable. More than a dozen authors and the entire curatorial team have pulled out of the Bendingo Writers Festival in Australia over censorship concerns. Palestinian writer Randa Abdel Fata, poet Evelyn Arulin, journalist Paul Dale, novelist Claire G. Coleman, and several others withdrew after being asked to sign a code of conduct limiting criticism of Israel. Writers say the rules silence debate on Palestine. The festival in the city of Bendingo required speakers to avoid what it calls inflammatory topics and posts they claim could harm the festival's reputation. It also invoked La Trobe University's anti-racism plan, which equates certain criticisms of Israel with anti-Semitism. The university is a presenting partner of the festival. The plan was adopted by 39 Australian university vice-chancellors in February. Festival co-curator and La Trobe professor Claire Wright has also resigned. Organizers have not responded publicly to the walkouts. 23 top economists, including Nobel Prize winners, have called on Israel to stop policies worsening starvation in Gaza. They are also asking Israel to drop plans to relocate civilians to a so-called humanitarian city. In an open letter to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, they warned that nearly one-third of Gaza's population has gone without food for days, with prices 10 times higher than 3 months ago. The signatories, including Joseph Stiglitz, Esther Duflo, and Angus Deaton, condemned the collapse of UN aid distribution and the deadly chaos at Israeli-backed aid sites. They said the relocation plan would strip Palestinians in Gaza of dignity and freedom of movement and could trigger sanctions, capital flight, and a tech sector exodus. The economists urged Israel to restore aid, end relocation plans, respect human rights, and seek a ceasefire to prevent famine, as well as protect its own democratic and economic future. Police in Washington, D.C. can now alert federal immigration officials about individuals not in custody, including during traffic stops. NBC4 News reports that the policy change comes under an executive order from Police Chief Pamela Smith. It follows President Donald Trump's move to take control of the Metropolitan Police Department and deploy 800 National Guard members to the nation's capital under the 1973 Home Rule Act. Officers are barred from checking immigration status in databases solely for that purpose. However, NBC4 reports that a driver stopped Tuesday for not having a license was handed over to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. Trump's border advisor Tom Homan told Fox News that under federal control, Washington will not be a sanctuary city and immigrants will be turned over to ICE. The agency's recent large-scale raids have faced strong criticism and sparked nationwide debate over immigration enforcement. California Governor Gavin Newsom has announced a special election on November 4th to let voters decide on a temporary congressional redistricting plan. Newsom says the measure is a direct response to Republican-led changes in Texas. If approved, it will allow midterm redistricting in 2026, 2028, and 2030, bypassing California's Independent Redistricting Commission until after the 2030 census. Newsom said the plan gives power to the people by putting maps on the ballot, unlike Texas's closed process. He accused President Donald Trump of urging Texas officials to find me 5 seats and called on other Democratic states to take similar steps. Senator Alex Padilla accused the Trump administration of trying to rig the system. The Texas redistricting fight has sparked legal challenges and political retaliation, with Democratic lawmakers facing threats of removal from office. Veterans will lose their exemption from work requirements for food stamps under President Donald Trump's new spending and tax law. Currently, veterans receiving Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Programs or SNAP benefits can qualify without meeting work rules. That ends in 2026. All recipients, including vets, must prove they work, volunteer, train, or job hunt at least 80 hours a month to keep benefits beyond 3 months unless they qualify for another exemption. About 1.2 million veterans live in SNAP households. Many face job barriers, including health issues, limited civilian work experience, and employer bias. Black and Latino veterans have higher unemployment rates than white veterans. Some say the rules ignore these challenges. Supporters claim it will prevent abuse and encourage work, noting access to food banks. New South Wales unveils $1 million plan to tackle Islamophobia. Funding will support victims, train police, and address a 530% spike in anti-Muslim hate. Details coming up next. Welcome back. The white supremacist gunman who killed 10 black people at Buffalo, New York supermarket in 2022 wants his federal charges dropped. Payton Gedron, a self-declared white supremacist, is already serving life without parole after pleading guilty to state murder charges. He faces a federal trial next year on hate crime and weapons charges, with the death penalty possible if convicted. Lawyers for Gedron say the grand jury that indicted him had too few black and Hispanic members. They claim the jury pool systematically underrepresented minorities and men. U.S. District Judge Lawrence Villardo questioned whether the disparity was accidental, not intentional. Attorney John Elmore, representing victims' families, called the defense's move ironic, noting the racial motive behind the killings. Prosecutors called the issue a technical violation and said the law does not require perfect representation. Israeli soldiers killed at least 31 Palestinians in attacks across Gaza since early Friday, according to local hospitals. 13 victims were killed while seeking food aid. Israeli strikes targeted the Zaytun neighborhood in Gaza City, where 300 to 350 homes have been destroyed in recent days. Israeli air and drone attacks also hit northern, central, and southern Gaza, killing civilians in Khan Yunis, Rafah, Al-Rimal, Al-Tufa, and near the Netzarim corridor. In the past 24 hours, 4 more people have died from hunger due to Israel's blockade of food and humanitarian aid since March, bringing starvation deaths to 239, including 106 children. Aid agencies warn that food scarcity is so extreme that even the smell of cooking is rare. Oxfam says malnutrition is causing irreversible harm to children. More than 28,000 cases of malnutrition have been recorded this year alone. Israel has sealed all crossings since March 2nd, blocking aid. Israel has killed over 65,000 Palestinians, mostly women, children, and the elderly, since October 2023. Israeli far-right National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir threatened senior Fatah leader Marwan Barghouti during a visit to Gannat prison, where Barghouti is incarcerated. Channel 12 aired footage of the encounter, which shows Ben-Gvir berating Barghouti and threatening that anyone who acts against Israel will be wiped out. Local media says Ben-Gvir was accompanied by Prison Service Commissioner Kobi Yacobi. Observers have noted that the 66-year-old prisoner appeared frail in the footage of the prison, which holds high-profile Palestinian inmates. Barghouti is a key Fatah figure who rose to prominence during the First Intifada in 1987 and the Second Intifada in 2000. Arrested in 2002, he is serving 5 life terms for attacks linked to Fatah-affiliated groups that killed and injured Israelis. Reports say the visit aimed to tighten conditions for Palestinian prisoners. Ben-Gvir's visit drew criticism for its provocative tone and timing as tensions between Israel and Palestinian factions remain high. In Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the death toll from a massive cloudburst has risen to 46. More than 120 people are injured and many remain missing. Many of the injured are Hindu pilgrims. The disaster struck Chositi village near the Mashal Mata shrine in Kishtwar district along a Hindu pilgrimage route. Rescue teams have pulled 167 people from the debris. 38 are in critical condition. Officials warn the toll may rise as rescue operations continue. More than 1,000 people were at the site when the cloudburst hit. Leaders, including former Chief Minister Umar Abdullah, have called the situation grim. More than 30 nations and international bodies are calling for an immediate halt to the siege in Fasher in Sudan's North Darfur. Senior officials warned hundreds of thousands remain trapped without food, water, or medical care as fighting rages between the Rapid Support Forces or RSF and the Sudanese army. Their statement said famine, first confirmed in nearby camps in August 2024, has since spread. More than 60 people have died from malnutrition in the past week, with cholera worsening the crisis. Officials condemned mass killings, sexual violence, and attacks on markets and hospitals, citing more than 1,500 deaths in the Zamzam camp in April. As well, officials say 40 people were killed in Abu Shuk camp recently. They urge both sides to grant a humanitarian pause, allow aid access, and ensure safe passage for civilians. The International Criminal Court says there are reasonable grounds to believe war crimes are being committed. The Australian state of New South Wales will spend $1 million to fight rising Islamophobia. Premier Chris Minns announced the plan after reports of a sharp increase in anti-Muslim hate incidents. The money will fund a victim support hotline, case management, and police training. The Action Against Islamophobia program will be run by the Australian National Imams Council. Its president, Imam Shadi Al-Sulaiman, says many Muslims now fear daily religious activities such as mosque prayers or wearing the hijab. Reports of Islamophobia have surged more than 530% since the start of Israel's genocide in Gaza in October 2023, with more than 1,500 cases reported. The move follows a massive Free Palestine march across Sydney Harbour Bridge, which was attended by up to 300,000 people on August 3rd. The state has also tightened laws on hate speech and offensive symbols to protect all faiths from abuse and harassment. A new report says ChatGPT can give dangerous advice to children. The British-American Center for Countering Digital Hate posed as a 13-year-old in tests. It says the chatbot shared details on suicide, extreme dieting, and substance use within minutes if framed as educational. Research Director Caleb Hood warned that AI lacks the judgment of humans and can't spot warning signs. The watchdog says ChatGPT stores conversation context, letting harmful exchanges continue. Experts say its rapid growth has outpaced regulation, leaving minors exposed to serious risks. It also noted no real age or parental consent checks. Hood urged stronger safeguards, age verification, and clear limits on risky topics. ChatGPT, launched in November 2022, is one of the world's most used AI tools. A Jamaican university student has invented a self-cleaning door handle for hospitals. The device uses ultraviolet light to kill 99.9% of pathogens in about 30 seconds. It is safe for humans and animals. The invention, called Dismissal, is designed for the Caribbean's tropical climate where bacteria spread quickly. Inventor Raven Stewart from Jamaica's Mount Prospect developed the idea after volunteering in a hospital. He is the first in his family to attend university and studied at the University of Technology. The handle's UV lights activate via a touch sensor, disinfecting the surface before the next user. Stewart has won Jamaica's Prime Minister's National Youth Award and the Commonwealth Health Innovations Award. He is seeking an international patent. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.